In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to use the free options backtester that is a part of the Options Trading Toolbox website. This backtester is completely free to use, but it does require you to create an account. That's just an email and password to get started so that when you create backtests, we have somewhere to save them to. Anyways, let's get started and let me walk you through the whole process. Once you start creating backtests, you will see a dashboard page like this of all your backtests. You'll be able to sort them based on date that you did them, based on the P&L, based on the ticker, based on the strategy that you ran. All these things you'll be able to easily filter by and see them all in one place. You can also delete them by clicking on the trash icon or share them by clicking on the share icon. Either way, this is where all your backtests will be once you start running them. If you haven't run a backtest before, then most likely you're going to see a video here walking you through how to use the backtest. Okay, but I'm going to walk you through that together in this video, super in depth so you'll understand every single setting. Okay, first we're going to do is click on New Backtest. This allows us to see all the rules of which we can use to set up a backtest. We have end-of-day data and intraday data. As of right now, which is December 2025, we only have end-of-day data. This means that we do backtests for over the last 15 years, so a decade and a half basically, so 15 years of data, but it's only end-of-day data, which means you can only look at long-term strategies, aka more than a 1 DTE strategy. So if you're doing something like testing a 1 DTE strategy, you're testing a 45 DTE strategy, a 60, 90, 120 DTE, all that can be accurately tested and ran inside of this backtester. I am still waiting to get intraday data that I'll be able to use for us to run 0 DTE strategies, which we'll be able to do in the future, but as of right now, only end-of-day data. We support a variety of tickers here that we'll be adding to in the future, like SPX, SPY, QQQ, IWM, GL, DDIA, and Apple. So if you want to test out any of those, just click on that ticker, and that's the ticker you'll be backtesting. We also have some default windows. You can check the last year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years max time frame, which is about 15 years for each ticker. Or you can look just over the 2020 crash period in case you want to test a strategy during that period. But across the board, it's super simple. You just set end of day data, the ticker you want to run, and then the dates in which you want to look at. Next, you'll click on Build Your Strategy. So Build Your Custom Strategy allows you to create up to 4 different option-like trade, or you can say, hey, I'm going to buy and sell. It's a call or a put. I'm going to pick on Delta or any other way you want to pick a strike price. So if we're walking through each one, we have Delta. This means it's going to locate it based on a specific Delta point in that option contract. A dollar amount out of the money, which means that whether it's a put or a call, it's going to be different. If it's a call, out of the money will be above. If it's a put, out of the money will be below. So you take whatever the current price is and you go that dollar's below. So if we go dollar amount below and we make this something like, let's say $5, that means that it's going to go $5 below for a put and $5 above for a call. In the money is the same thing, but switched. Percentage out of the money is the same thing as dollar, but instead of being a dollar amount, it's a percentage amount out of the money and in the money. And then offset is based on a prior or previous leg, which means that if you're creating something like a credit spread where you want to make sure it's a $5 wide credit spread, you would pick offset with previous leg, and then that way you would select that leg. Now, that is how you can do it. I'm going to quickly refresh this to show you that there's also pre-built strategies. So if I come in here to New Backtest, and then I click on Select Strategy, there's a lot of pre-built ones here. If I go to Put Credit Spread, you can see how it preloads it for me, where I'm going to sell a put at the 30 delta, 45 days out, and then I'm going to buy a put with offset of 5, which means that I'm going to look at this leg, whatever strike it picks for this, I'm going to pick $5 below, minus 5. So that's how that works for the strategy selection. From there, I'm going to go to entry rules. So the entry rules is going to be select frequency. How often do I want this trade to enter? I can enter daily, weekly, monthly, or on signal, which is going to be more like a technical indicator. But yeah, you can segment based on all those entry rules. You can also enter on only specific days. So for instance, if I want to enter daily, but only on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I could do that. Or maybe I want to enter once a week on Wednesday only. That's another example of how you would structure that trade. You can enter at specific times as well. If you want to make sure that you're only entering at a specific DTE, not rounding, not getting close to, but if you set 45 DTE and you want to make sure you enter when it is exactly 45 DTE, you just check this box and that'll be an exact match. You can also do a technical indicator. So if you click on this for simple moving average, you can select the period the moving average is looking at, and then you can look at the price condition. For all of these, both the SMA and EMA and RSI, they're all looking at the daily price range. So it's all looking at what happens on a day time frame. So it's not going to be a minute, not going to be 5 minutes, not 15, but a day, which again works great for SMA, EMA, and RSI in general, especially for the long-term strategies. Once intraday data gets supported, we'll be able to make these more granular, but for now, that's what we have, but they work great. Next is trade filters. So if you want to make sure that you only enter a trade if it's between a certain credit or certain debit amount, this is how you would do that. You'd say, hey, I want to make sure I only enter the trade if it's between $2 and $3. That's the way you would structure it. Minimum trade price means whatever this is or greater. Maximum means whatever this is or less than. So by putting 2 here and 3 there, that means between $2 and $3 that I can enter this trade for. Next is the exit rules. I can set how I want to exit. So take profit percentage, how I want to exit based on the credit percentage of that credit, stop loss, a percentage of that as well. I could also do early exit DTE. So if we're down to the 21 DTE mark on that contract, I can exit. Or if I want to exit after I've been in the trade for a certain amount of time, whether that be 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, all popular early exit criteria, you can set that as well as an exit time to get more precise with that. And you can also exit based on technical and indicators, whether that be SMA, EMA, RSI. You set the period and you set the condition, whether you price below, price above, cross below. So you can set all those there as well with a single click. There's also a couple of miscellaneous settings here underneath the exit rules, which is exit based on trade delta. So if you want to exit when the overall delta of this trade has gone to a certain threshold or a certain amount, you can. That way you can make sure that you're like delta hedging and things like that. Not everyone will use this, but it is there as an option. You can also re-enter the trade the immediate or the same time that you exit. So if you exit a trade, then you immediately put on a new trade. You can do that by clicking on re-entering after. If not, it'll just wait for your entry conditions to enter in that next trade again. After that, we have miscellaneous settings. This is how much funds you want to start off with in the backtesting account, whether you want to start with 100 grand, a million, whatever amount of money you want to use. Next is the max open trades. How many open trades can be running for your backtest at a single time? How many max contracts per trade? So for instance, let's say we have $1 million account. We're running a contract at a time and we have a 20% allocation. That means we can have a lot of contracts running for a single trade. And so this can restrict it. I personally like to use 1 contract per trade because then it gives me a realistic expectation of what's going on. Because again, as you scale, you're not going to be able to scale that many contracts. But anyways, you can keep that to whatever amount you'd like. You have ignore buying power restrictions, which means that it'll ignore this right here, max allocation per trade, where you base your trade percentage or your contract size based on the account size. Instead, it's just based on purely max contracts. You can also close trades, so mark them as closed when the back test ends to see basically the profit and loss of where that trade is right now, or you can keep it on and keep it running. Both are a bit different. You have commissions and slippage. I love to have this here to make sure the backtest is as accurate as possible. To make sure you're factoring in like commissions and fees, which all brokers charge as of right now. They may not charge commissions, but they do charge fees, and that will cut into your overall profit. Also, slippage is something you need to account for because you're not always going to get the best fill. So I put in typically the best defaults for that here, but you can change them to whatever you'd like. You could also make it more realistic by clicking on ignore trades with wide bid-ask spread. If there's a very large variance in the historical pricing, meaning that you probably wouldn't have gotten a fill anyways, you can check that and it will ignore that trade and not enter it. Once all those are set, you can click run back test, and that will allow you to run a back test. Let me pull up one of mine right here so we can look at it because it takes a bit of time. Again, this is a free back test. I'm still running as great of a backend as I can to make this run as quickly as possible. So I'm spending a couple grand, a little higher than that, per month on this for you guys. But with that, it doesn't run as fast as maybe others. So it takes about 10 seconds per year that you're running a back test for. So if you're running a 5-year back test, it's going to take about 50 seconds. Taking 10 years, about a minute to 2 minutes, something like that. Once you do that, it shows you this amazingly cool chart, like trading view of your historical performance. It shows you your backtest metrics, all the key things that you need to know, from MAR ratio to Sharpe ratio to premium capture rate. All this stuff you can see in one place. It also gives you a simple backtest summary of what's going on so that you'll be able to read in clear English what exactly this means, how it's performing, and things that you can do to improve it. We also show you access to our other tool, which is the options auto trader, of how you can actually automate this strategy and turn this backtest into a proven bot that runs without you needing to do anything. So you can take advantage of this strategy by turning it into a bot. Next is the trade log. This shows you over time, what has it done? What were the trades placed? Did it hit the take profit, the stop loss, the early exit? Why did it close the trade? Shows you the P&L per trade, the return, and then you can click on action, which will show you a breakdown of this trade. The symbol, when did it open, the stock price, the days in trade, entry price, P&L, close reason, everything you want to know behind this trade to filter in a bit further. Shows you the option contracts and trades that were picked, the delta at which it entered at, all these things. You can see here, show price chart, which shows the historical price of while it was in the trade. What did this option price do? Obviously, this is a selling strategy, a put selling strategy. So the fact that this went down over time was good. I want the price to go down as a put seller. Shows me the commissions and slippage cost total that I paid. All that is in here. It's super easy to see with this trade log. So all that is in here. But not only that, you can also easily adjust any of the settings. All the backtesting settings you originally set are now here, right here on this side panel. You can change them, edit them, and then click on rerun backtest. The cool part is, though, a lot of times, because I'm an avid backtester myself, which is why I wanted to build a tool that kind of fit my needs and had cool things. One of those is that if I rerun a backtest, it will show me the results of that previous backtest. So instead of having to flip between different backtests to see how they did, it instead shows me, hey, the previous backtest that we reran to generate this one, here was the overall performance, here was the win rate, here was the max drawdown. And so I can see all these things here to compare it to this one, so I have an instant way to compare, did my new backtest do better? Anyways, that is the overall view of the backtest. You can run as many backtests as you like. Go check it out to your heart's delight. You can sort them all, filter them, and all that. Couple things that I do want to mention, which are more housekeeping things, is you can rename your backtest. By default, it'll just set it to whatever the strategy is. But what we can do here is you can just rename it. Say rename this strategy and click off of it, or just click enter and it'll rename this strategy. I misspelled that. But you can see right there, you can just simply rename things like that. Also, if you go into more free tools, underneath help desk, there is a help desk article on side or about options backtesting 101. Also, you have the search backtests for all backtests that have been made public inside or that have been run inside of the options trading toolbox can be found inside of here. You can search based on all the tickers that have been run, the strategies that have been run, and I like having the minimum trades, the minimum days. This is just saying, hey, I want to make sure the backtest has at least 50 trades in it and that it was run for at least a year, 365 days. That way I'm looking at backtests that have actually done something. But anyways, you can search for here all the backtests and all the things you want to look at. You can just click to load up these charts and load up this data for you. I'll look at something I look at there. But anyways, that's a simple and easy way to look at all these backtests in a super quick way if you want to get ideas and inspirations from other people. Anyways, that is the options backtester with the options trading toolbox. I hope you enjoy it. This is the first free options backtester to my knowledge on the internet right now. So go explore, go have fun, and share it with some friends.